Rob deGrandpre, thank you for joining us today or joining me today. Wanted to give you a chance to talk about your program and your career here at Hilbert College. So I guess my first question would be, tell me, how long have you been at Hilbert and what your career path looked like? How many steps along the way did you have to climb in order to become the head coach of the Hawks?
Well, thank you for having me. Happy New Year, Cara. It's this is year 19 for me, and all in one place, which I think in this business is sometimes a little ironic, but it's been a good place for me, and I've enjoyed it here, and my family has enjoyed it here, and I think we've built something special. And you know, coming to work is fun, and I really like what we've been doing with our program and how it's grown, and a lot of baby steps along the way, but I definitely think we're doing very well. 2002 September was my first time getting here, but prior to that, I spent 3 years at Rochester Institute of Technology, RIT, another Division III school in Rochester, New York. I was the assistant coach there, and prior to that, I spent 5 years at Brockport State, my alma mater. Really enjoyed my time there as well, and along the way, I've been involved with the Empire State Games. I think the last time we had that going on was 2010, and the games were actually here in Buffalo, so that was a lot of fun. And always worked a lot of basketball camps and networked with the right people, and it's been a great ride along the way, and never easy, but the challenges I think bring out the best, and it's I couldn't see myself doing anything else.
Right, right. I know for me personally, I just loved being a college athlete and then continued into coaching after. Um, who were your role models? Who were your influencers at Brockport as an undergrad, and then, on the coaching staff and at RIT? I'm sure there's been some really strong leadership that you model yourself after.
Yeah, there was a coaching change when I during my earlier years at Brockport in the late 80s, and it all turned out for the best. Unfortunately, my senior year, I had an injury that sidelined me for a long, long time, and during that time frame, it really gave me an opportunity to spend more time and I use the term snuggle up to our coaching staff, but see what the day-to-day grind was for the assistants and the managers, and get closer to the head coach. And I even jumped in some radio interviews when our radio crew needed somebody to meet with, and I think it really gave me an opportunity to take a look into the future of what I wanted to do, and the coaching piece. I guess when I was going through school, I thought, well, okay, I'm going to have this degree, and I'll be certified to teach, and I'll go back home and perhaps end up at my old high school and be the basketball coach. And I think that was a dream for up until that last year of college, when I was just bitten by the college coaching bug, and it's been nothing but that ever since.
Right. Did your family, how supportive, we could talk about two families here, your wife and kids, and then your mom and dad and your siblings. But so tell us how your growing up years influenced your adult years, and then we can talk about your family a little bit.
Sure.
Too.
So I grew up in Plattsburgh, New York, just really feet away from the doorsteps of Memorial Hall. At Plattsburgh State, great basketball there now. And while I was growing up, I went to a lot of basketball camps. My father was a high school coach. I was fortunate enough, if I got my homework done every day, I could, find out where he was practicing and run over and maybe shoot on the side, or even jump into some drills once in a while. And, that's probably where I got my first taste of it. My extended family is rather big. We joke around, we're kind of the Waltons of the North Country. There might be 70 of us by now, for crying out loud. So we big family, and any family gatherings were pick up baseball games or basketball games or whatever. And just a great place to grow up, and some great influences along the way. I had great high school teammates and coaches, and one of my neighbors was a young man by the name of Danny Thies, who had played basketball at Plattsburgh State, was an assistant coach, and later progressed through the college ranks. But he made a cameo in 1994 in the movie Hoop Dreams, which is based on a true story of recruiting the city of Chicago. Dan was an assistant at Marquette University, and I'll never forget growing up. He used to drive an old clunker of a car, and we were all there at one point, as assistant coaches trying to make our way, and he would always shine the lights from that car on the basketball court near my house, and rebound. And he had some great advice. He said, at one point, your playing days are going to come to an end, and coaching college basketball is the next best thing to playing. And he couldn't be more right. It's been a great journey, and I've enjoyed all the experiences along the way.
Right. So now you're developing your program, or you developed it really since 2002. What do you look for in a Hilbert student athlete? What do you look for from your guys on the court, and what are your expectations from them, as individuals and people of society?
Well, I think over the years, our model has kind of changed a little bit, but there are certain building blocks that have kind of stayed in place from day one. And we're looking for guys that obviously can play at a very high level and have a competitive motor, not just on game day, but practice matters and practice counts, and they take that seriously. And we want to be great teammates. We want to be great students and take advantage of all the services that the college offers for people to be successful. We want to be, learners and students of the game. I think it's so important to be receptive to learning. And, if you're a good teammate, and you're going to take joy in the success of others when it's not your turn. When we get to that point, with an individual, we have what we tag as a hawk. I mean, that's somebody that's bought in and is going to be part of a 4-year process here, and hopefully help us, continue some of the good things we've been doing.
Right. How are you managing your team, your program, your coaching staff right now through the COVID craziness? What's your message to your student athletes? I guess maybe to all the student athletes at Hilbert College.
Well, it's certainly been some challenging times. It's been an up and down year with a lot of different things going on, and trying to keep everybody healthy, trying to keep everybody safe is obviously at the forefront. I think the competitor in all of us, whether it's coaches, players, we want to get back to normalcy as soon as possible. We've tried to put a positive spin on it. This is the prep year that everybody always wanted, that maybe you couldn't always have or didn't have the means to have. And I think even for our staff, we talk daily, and sometimes it's early in the morning, sometimes it's late at night. But, we're trying to keep our guys going, keep them enthused and keep them excited. And, this will eventually pass. And when it does, we want to be ready to get back to doing what we love to do. And that's play the game and coach the game and teach the game and be as competitive as we can be. I think, we're hoping to return later this month and get back out on the court. It'll be a slow process, but hopefully we can ramp it up a little bit as we prove that we can stay healthy and take care of one another and eventually compete at some point later this semester.
Not to give any anything away, but a little birdie told me you were really excited for this year. You lost some really great players to graduation last year. They all helped you in their own special ways, but you felt like you were ready to challenge again this year.
Yeah, it's we graduated four very very good senior players, and they were good people and good students, and it's always hard to replace the experience, but I think when you turn the page and get ready for the next season, there's always excitement. We brought in a rather large class, and we were able to secure some transfers that have some experience, and we had a preseason trip planned to go to Canada, and we certainly would have learned a lot about ourselves and where we are and where we need to go and how we're going to get there. Unfortunately, all those things were put on hold with the COVID restrictions and the safety factors that needed to be taken into consideration. But we're still sticking together, and I'm anxious to get our guys back out on the court, as one unit. We've practiced a little bit up until this point, but it's been more in basically a modified situation, and you can get some things accomplished, but it certainly isn't the same. We're obviously striving to be together as one unit and be a group again very soon. So hopefully we can stay safe so we can continue in that direction.
Right. It seems so long ago since I was able to take some pictures of your guys in the gym. I almost forgot who they are, sadly. So your pod right now consists of Sarah, Trey, and Cade.
Yes.
Tell us what that's like with two little guys that are just energetic balls of fire.
Yeah, that pod needs another assistant coach sometimes. It's been, at first there were obviously some challenges. My two little guys are 7 and 10, and they were going to school part-time. Now they were, confined at home for a little bit. My wife is a teacher, so she was confined at home for a while. We were really, kind of managing this thing day to day. She's really the brains of the whole operation. She's a teacher, so she's helping with a lot of the online things that my children are doing, and I'm kind of the backup. So, we're just managing it day to day. We're trying to stay very positive, and there's been days we just get out of the house and go for a long ride in the car, and luckily we got a DVD player and that thing to keep everybody in the back happy. But we're trying to play it safe, and Christmas at home and holidays, and my little guy's got a birthday party coming up. I know he's going to be disappointed that he can't be with his friends, but we'll try to have a few fireworks at our house and let him enjoy it and take good care of him.
Well, we're all working remotely, but you can see that you are in the office. Is that an indication of trying to get out of the house?
maybe
you don't have to answer that. I don't want to get you
a little bit, but sometimes we do have an office at our house, and my wife's currently using it for her teaching needs, and sometimes trying to find a quiet place for Dad is the best place to be is back on campus. So
tell me, what would be your perfect day off then?
I think for me, it probably starts with a good night's sleep. Those are sometimes far and few between, especially during a long season. But when we're playing, I run on adrenaline pretty well, and I can burn the candle at both ends for quite a while. This has been different. It's you find yourself sometimes getting into bad habits, whether it's staying up late or skipping a meal here and there. But I think I know for my well-being, I need to get a good night's sleep, and I benefit from getting up early and getting a workout in, whether it's at home or, a run around the neighborhood or, anything I can do. The summer obviously presented, certainly some great opportunities to be outside when the weather was good. But, when we were open, I was able to get back into our fitness center sometimes early in the morning with before anybody was even here. And that's kind of how I get through the year. I know I have to stay healthy and take care of myself during a very long season. And I think it's also helpful for our players. If they see how invested I am, they're more inclined to get on board and train and take care of themselves. And it's been a good example to set.
That's terrific. So the last question I have for you, as you disappeared on me, where did your image go, Rob?
Can you see me?
No, I can't see you. There we go. So
right.
My last question is, what was the best advice that you received from someone? It's a two-part. What was the best advice that you've received? And then obviously I'll ask you my next question once you answer that one.
I think that's a really good question. You can't solve everything in a day sometimes, and the highs and lows of coaching at this level. Obviously, wins are important. You know, the camaraderie with the players and trying to learn from mistakes is an ongoing process. And I think one thing I've learned over the years is, you're not going to solve it immediately after something goes wrong. We have all the technology in the world now to obviously to Zoom and do this interview, but we film all of our games. We use all the technology that's available, the statistics and things like that, and we kind of have to dive back into that and break it down a little bit, and then sometimes go back to teaching the basics, the fundamentals that sometimes get away from you during the course of a game. And it's never the end of the world if you lose. It's you have to find a way the next day to kind of go through it and figure out where it went wrong, and then fix the things that didn't work so that the next time you're more prepared. And I think I've tried to early on, maybe not so much. I wanted to fix it immediately and was impatient with that process, but I've learned that the sun will come up tomorrow, and
Yeah.
I do think you have to take a deep breath once in a while and say, hey, let's digest this for the night, and we'll take another crack at it early the next morning when we all have had a chance to catch our breath and rest a little bit.
Yeah, so that's your advice on the court. What would be your advice to all the students at Hilbert right now, as we head back to campus, and how we manage this pandemic? What's your advice to the students? I really believe, the calm, take a breath, you lose a few, you win a few, you have to learn as you go, but what's your advice to them?
Well, I think it's obviously a time that, I don't know if any of us thought it would last this long. It has, and it's been unfortunate, but, like everything else, this will pass, it'll get better. I think when that time comes, I think as coaches and leaders, we have to have a very positive attitude and try to remain encouraging, for all the student athletes. There's a lot to be getting excited about. We have a brand new softball field. We have a brand new baseball field. I know our spring sport teams are probably just thrilled with the new facilities. President Brophy is moving forward with our new turf and track complex, which is a couple of years away, but there's always excitement around things like that. And I've used this extra time to stay in touch with some of our alums that I had lost track with, and we have a wonderful alumni following, not just with my program, but with the college as a whole. And start talking about summer basketball. Our basketball camp has been intact for over 40 years, and certainly going to put some energy into getting that back off the ground once we get the green light to move forward with that. I just think there's so many things on the horizon to be excited about, and you have to keep your glass half full. It can't be half empty. Debbie Downer's not going to get you through this, and try to find some joy in every day, whether maybe it's going for a walk and talking to somebody, an old teammate or a friend, a student that you haven't conversed with in a while, and just sharing your positive experiences to try to get other people to do the same thing.
Right. Just mask up. Be
Right.
present in today, because you don't know what tomorrow brings. But you're right. You have to be positive and keep moving forward. So I'm just trying to see if there's any other questions that I have for you. Well, this would be a chance for you to maybe throw in one more time names from the past or even current. Could be current players and not necessarily college players, but if you could pick a dream team,
Oh boy.
and you are one of those,
Okay.
5, not
Okay.
only 5, who would be your other 4? Who would be?
It's a tough question to answer. I've had so many great
Yeah.
teammates over the years, whether it was in high school or college, I would hate to leave anybody out. So,
So then you're going to say me, you, Cody.
yeah, well, I do have some thoughts. So I
Okay.
was thinking about this a little bit, and so I don't leave anybody out. All my college teammates and high school teammates were great guys to play with. They worked so hard, and they're all doing so well for themselves. Those guys are at the forefront. But if I had to pick 4 more guys to go to battle with, I'll take my staff right now. I've got 4 assistant coaches that have been with me for a couple of years now, a few years, some longer than others, but it's such a very dedicated group. And I think our players are very fortunate to have not just the knowledge and the experience of these guys, but their enthusiasm and what they bring to the table every day in terms of trying to get us to another level. And so I'll play with Cody Troutman and Mark Majera and Jack Gaylord and Maddie Hartman. I think that's a pretty solid 5.
Right. I agree.
Yep.
So, okay. I know you got things to do. You got to go home. And I appreciate your time today, and go Hawks.
Sounds good. Go Hawks. Thanks, Cara.
Thanks.